Hi everybody, I am Rihanna with Vinter Soul, and welcome to another grand dye experiment of mine. Today we have 12 skeins separated into 3 groups of 4 of this 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 5% silver stellina sock weight yarn. I have this leftover dye from dyeing some cotton yarn. This is marigold. I don't know what the concentration is. It was a jar dye, and this is what's left over from it. And we also have this creamsicle. And we are going to dye all this yarn with the marigold, and then we are going to treat each one of these sets, each one of these 3 sets, in a different way. One we are going to dip dye with the creamsicle. One we are going to glaze with the creamsicle. And the third one we are going to speckle, maybe with creamsicle or maybe with something else. We'll see. So in this pot I have 9 or 10 cups-ish of water with about, I don't know, maybe a half cup of vinegar. I put a lot of vinegar in it because there is soda ash in these dye solutions. And I need extra vinegar to neutralize the soda ash and bring this up to the pH that we want. Unfortunately, my pH pen is out of battery right now, so I can't actually tell what the pH is, but it smells like vinegar, so I'm assuming that we've got enough in there. We'll see. I can always add more. So I'm going to go ahead and add this marigold to the pot. And then we're going to speed the video up from there, and we'll come back when I start the first treatment of these 3 separate sets. So our dye bath is almost clear. I'm going to call it good because it's a similar enough color that we're going to be dip dyeing into that I don't see this little amount of yellow that's left being much of a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these out of the pot. And then we're going to move on to our next treatment. So our next one is going to be dip dyeing. Thank you, love. Here we go. Oh, those are hot, 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 hot. Okay. Our next treatment's going to be dip dyeing. Yeah, that water is pretty much clear. It just has a hint of yellow left in it. So for our dip dye, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some amount of this creamsicle. Probably not the whole thing, because I don't think we need the whole thing for 4 skeins. It's a lot of color and it's pretty concentrated. So I'm going to add maybe like a half cup of what we have there, and then we'll dip dye into it, and then if we have any left over, we'll use that to glaze, and if we don't have any left over, we will add just a small amount for glazing. So again, I'm going to speed this up, and then I will check back in with our glazing portion. Okay, just kidding. I'm going to add a little more than a half cup because that is not very much color. So let's go for a full cup. I think that's a little more what I want to see. Yeah, that's more what I want to see. Okay. And so in we're going to go. This yarn is still very hot. It's still wet. That's fine. Not at all a problem. Okay. I'm actually going to stop real quick and add some vinegar because this doesn't smell particularly vinegary. No. And it's not taking the color very quickly. I like it to take the color really quickly, so I'm going to add, it's probably about a 1/4 cup of vinegar in there. We're going to go for a half cup. As that reaction you saw there was the vinegar reacting with the soda ash. Now, that smells like vinegar. We're good to go. Okay, here we go. Okay, and I'm happy with that. I've probably can't see it on the camera here. Let me see. So I've preserved a lot of the yellow at the top here, so it's still that pale yellow color we had from the marigold, but we go down into like a rich kind of peachy orange at the bottom, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to set this aside. This is our dip dyed skein. Our dip dyed set of skeins. It's 4 skeins. Okay. And so now we're going to move on to the glazing. There's still a bit of orange left in here, but not a lot. I don't want this to be super pigmented, so I'm gonna add just, let's see, I'm gonna add just under 50 milliliters here for our glazing, and I'm gonna add some more vinegar so that it strikes very, very, very quickly. Okay, not sure why my video stopped. I thought maybe I was out of space, but I'm not, so Anyways, we're going to go right back into this. We've got a nice hot pot full of vinegar and pretty, I mean, it's a moderate saturation of dye. It's pretty pale. If we were to just throw a plain skein into this, it would probably end up being a kind of pale orangey color. So anyways, I'm just going to take this kind of wrapped up on itself and just plunge it right into the pot. And we're just going to leave it in for, oh, I don't know, not very long. Let's see, pull it out now actually. And yeah, I'm gonna put it back in. Glazing happens very fast, but I have a very small amount of color in here, so we'll see. I think that's about what I'm looking for. And I'm going to pause this and go check on my baby. All right. Oh, wait. Nope. Okay. Guess my husband's got him. All good. So yeah, we can still see in some of this the yellow areas, like some strands are more orange than others, and this is exactly what I was looking for. Basically just a low amount of color all over the whole thing. And then, let's see, so what do we have in here? We've got some very pale orange left. I want to speckle this next skein. And for that, we're going to need this to be much more low immersion. So, I'm going to bail some of this water out. Actually, I'm going to pause the video real quick. Okay, so it's actually the next day. It's been about 24 hours since I left off on this project. You know, life happens. So anyways, I was going to speckle this one with a low immersion method. But I decided that that's going to take more time than I want to put into this at this point. So instead, I have put some plastic wrap down. And I've tried to kind of spread the fibers out here as much as I can. Haven't done a terribly good job of it, but it is what it is. I'm going to turn it over, so it's not a big deal if it's not all exposed. So anyways, I'm going to put on my mask. Then I have this little scooper here. It's from some baby formula. If you have a baby or you know someone who has a baby, I'm sure you have access to these as well. I both have a baby and know people who have babies. So anyways, I soaked this skein. The skein had kind of dried out. So I soaked it in some vinegar over again earlier today. And this little scoop has this little hole in the bottom. So I'm going to add a very small amount of dye into the scoop. And then we're going to see if this works for me to just tap it. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. To just get these little speckles. And I'm speckling with the same color that we did everything else with so far, which is creamsicle. And you know, I might actually not turn this over. I might just let it be how it is, because I don't want a ton of color. I'm not trying to make it super even. I don't want it to oversaturate. And as I'm sure you guys have noticed, kind of have a tendency to overuse color. I can be a little bit heavy-handed, so and that's why I'm using the spoon, because I was kind of hoping that using this I'd be able to sort of control how much is actually coming out, and it seems to be doing a fantastic job. So I'm going to add a little tiny bit more. I've maybe used like a 1/16 of a teaspoon on, I'm maybe using a 1/16 of a teaspoon on this whole set of skeins here. So we have 40 grams in total on this set, because it's 3 sets of 4 10-gram skeins. So yeah, this is 40 grams of wool we've got here. Well, wool and nylon. It's sock wool. Oh, and I'm actually going to need a little bit more than that. Basically, my idea here is to create just kind of a fun, bright colorway. I kind of accidentally made some very autumn colorways the other day, and I thought, you know, we're coming into summer pretty soon, and I'd really like to have some nice bright things to put up in my Etsy shop and to share with everybody. Okay, I didn't quite use all of it, but I'm going to call that good because I don't want to overdo it. Less is more, as they say, and I think I already am a little bit on the side of more here. But I think it looks like it's going to be nice. And so this color, I don't have my swatch ready. It's still sort of soaking out. Although there's no color coming off of it, so I really just need to rinse it and dry it and iron it. But this color kind of gives off a lot of like various shades of orange. There's some kind of pinky hues and a lot of yellow hues, but mostly it's a lot of shades of orange, which is why I thought it would be really nice with the marigold, because the marigold kind of has like that orangey sort of feel too. So I'm going to wrap this up. And we're going to steam set this. I'm going to use my heater again like I have been, because that's just the easiest way for me to heat something where I don't have to try to take this into the kitchen and do something with it, because I don't have a lot of space in my kitchen for this, and then that would also mean that I'd need to clean my kitchen, which I am just not going to do for a video. Okay, so we're going to steam set this in a jar on my heater. I also have the other two wrapped up in plastic. I'm gonna, I guess, kind of be steam setting all 3 of them, even though these 2 are, I think, already heat set, but I'm not one for taking risks. Well, I am, but not when it comes to whether or not my yarn is set, because I don't want to have to do any extra rinsing. So we're just gonna pop all of these in the jars. Get this one. Probably should have taken the zip ties off of these. Probably would have made this a little bit easier, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. The jar is still going to close, and that's what matters at the end of the day. Okay, so hopefully those are all still nice and wet to allow for the heat set to happen properly. I just need to find a lid. There's a lid. Okay, so I'm going to take this inside, and it's going to sit on my heater later tonight, probably for, I don't know, 30 minutes or so when it comes on. And then we'll be back for the washout. All right. All right, so here we are with the washout of these. I took them out of the jar because I needed the jar for something else. So just on first glance, it doesn't look like we have a ton of color sticking to the plastic wrap in here, which is really nice. The jar got to about 250 degrees, and the yarn inside was, oh, I don't know. I think it was like 180, 170, 180. So it got nice and hot, basically. So here we go. We're gonna rinse these out. I'm gonna start with the glazed one because I'm absolutely certain that one's not gonna have any bleeding. And then I'm gonna do them in this order. I'm gonna do glazed, dip dyed, and then finally this one, because this one might need to soak out, and if it does, I want to have it separate from the others. Okay, so I'm going to speed through this a bit, and I'll let you know if anything of note happens. Alright, so surprisingly we did not have any runoff from this last one. I'm really shocked by that, but that's awesome. And here they all are together. They're wet still, but oops, nevertheless, let's take a look at them. So I am very, very happy with how these came out. You can see this one right here just has the lightest amount of the creamsicle on it. This is the original marigold color next to it. And it's probably about the shade of this part of the dip dyed one. The dip dyed one, you can see at the end it has some of these kind of brighter peachy pink salmony tones. And this one just has all kinds of stuff going on. It's got like hot pink, peach, orange, deep yellows, all on this marigold base. So I'm going to call this a success. I am very, very pleased with how these came out. And I'm going to go hang them up to dry. And yeah, we'll be back with the conclusion. And here we are with our conclusion of my wool micro skeins 3 ways. So all of these started with a base of marigold and had creamsicle added to them. We have our dip dye, which came out really nice. It has Oops, what is that? You can see the darker tones through here. I try to twist them up so that you can see the darkest and the lightest bits kind of next to each other. This one came out really gorgeous. Then we have our glazed one, and I'm not really sure that this counts as being glazed. Trying to get it to focus here. There we go. I'm not really sure that this counts as being glazed. It's still not in focus. Yeah, stop focusing on the background. Okay, well, that's as good as it's gonna get. Yeah, I'm not really sure if this counts as being glazed because even though the color penetration is fairly shallow, I think that I used such a pale color over another pale color that it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to tell that it's two different colors. It kind of just looks like a nice pale orange when really it's a yellow covered by a nice pale orange. That being said, it's really pretty. I'm gonna have to work on my glazing though. I think more dye and less time is probably what would create more of a glazed, more of the kind of glazed effect that I'm looking for. And then finally, we have my personal favorite here, the speckled one. Now this just came out beautiful. The pale marigold base was a perfect vector for this creamsicle color. The oranges and kind of peachy pinks on here just really shine. And we even have some kind of like pink speckling right here. Want to focus? No, you don't. It's just being a butthole today. That's okay. But yeah, I'm really happy with these. I'm really excited to try making something with them. Especially this one. I think it's just gonna look really, really cool. Crocheted or knitted into something. But yeah, these are gorgeous. They're gonna be up on my Etsy pretty soon. They'll probably even be up by the time this video is released. A little bit of a kink there. That's okay. But yeah, they'll be up by the time this video is released, most likely. So if you want to take some of this yarn home, it's going to be there for the taking. And yeah, if there's anything you'd like to see me do, I like to try different things. I like to experiment with different, you know, different types of fiber and different techniques and colors and stuff like that. So if there's anything that you've been itching to see or anything you've seen me post that you have questions about, you're wondering how I create something, feel free to reach out and I will get that on my list of things to make videos of. Yeah, happy to try and answer everybody's questions. I'm also happy to create custom colorways for people in any kind of fiber base that you're looking for. So if that's something you're interested in, again, go ahead and reach out to me. Yeah, that's it. So to wrap this up, I'll just say, as I always do, that if you want to do something, all you need is a dream in your heart and a desire to put that dream into motion. And if no one ever told you you could, well, you can. And that's it. Peace out.